Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna take a look at the focusing mechanism of the Leitz Hektor 7.3 cm f1.9 lens from the 1930s. This version is the one with two silver rings basically, and it's from 1938 I believe. I got this lens recently and I've already overhauled the aperture mechanism. I just cleaned out the threads here and put some fresh lubricant in there, so the action is nice and smooth. As previously you could feel some grit, I actually thought that perhaps the aperture is clicked, which would be unusual for such an old lens, but yeah, so much dust and debris got in there that it was very unpleasant. But now it's very smooth and it's actually a bliss to use. Then at first I thought I wouldn't tackle the focusing mechanism because these can be sometimes a bit complicated on these lenses. But yeah, the grease was somewhere in the middle. It was still usable, but if possible, of course, it would be nice to have some fresh grease in here. Luckily, somebody was in here before me and he marked all the parts, how they go together. He did use some quite big marks, like here. I'm not sure if it's going to be visible. He put an X. There you can just barely see it. And he put an X here on the ring. And these are of course hidden once you put everything together. Here he put a little zero. So you know, this is, for example, this is the mount, the L39 or M39 thread mount. And at this position, it's zeroed out or at infinity. That's how he marked it. I did make a little scratch here, just so I know on what thread this goes. I already cleaned out the threads. I'm just gonna brush them here with a old toothbrush I use for these things, for lenses and sometimes computers, for the more rough surfaces. The grease was, as I said, a bit older and quite stiff, but still somewhat usable. And yeah, there was actually a lot of debris in there, like sand or I don't know, just hard particles that you could feel some grinding when operating the focusing mechanism. And yeah, I would like to clean those out. I already brushed these ones out earlier. And really it's quite simple to disassemble. I'm gonna go in the reverse order so you know how this is assembled. Here I have some Helicoid grease. This is from eBay because in Europe actually I have quite a lot of trouble finding quality Helicoid grease. And this one is a bit too stiff for my liking. It's a bit too heavy for these rangefinder lenses in my taste. Of course, some people do like heavily damped lenses, but I prefer them to be lighter and quicker to focus. But yeah, for precise focus, sometimes it's better to have a lens that's heavier greased. Let me just find here. What I do is I always put it ahead and then I reverse. So you can hear it click. And yeah, you want to be gentle. You have to line it up nicely because, and let me see now. Yep, if I'm here at 0, this is basically infinity. I didn't put much grease in there because I can always add more. And here I'm just gonna work it in. Excuse me, but the English is not my first language, so some pronunciations can be a bit wrong. But yeah, just I like to work it in so it spreads nicely on the threads, and I'm gonna add some more. And the amount you put in really depends. Some people like to really smother this in grease. But I like to go slow and don't put too much. You could also apply this with let's say a toothpick, especially on some smaller threads where you really don't need a lot. Like on the aperture, I just used the toothpick and dipped it in. Yeah, that's a bit better. Previously there was so much grease in here when this part was sticking out, you could actually see it oozing out a bit from the lens. But I do believe this was serviced many decades ago. This wasn't a recent service, because the guy I bought this from, he said it was passed down in the family, the lens. Now, of course, if that's true, or if he just found it and was like, oh, look, a couple $100 easy, and just made up a story, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was quite dusty and dirty. So here's the main focusing mechanism, and you could actually remove these two rings also. I'm not quite sure how. Maybe they are just stuck on my example, but this is a separate piece and this is a separate piece that should come apart from this one. Now I'm not gonna push my luck and try to bend something by mistake, so I just took my time and put a cloth in here and really cleaned out the threads. Of course it would be easier with this removed, but yeah, I didn't really want to go any further as to risk destroying anything, as this is quite an old lens, and already, as you can see here on the numbering, it's quite heavily used. It had a tough life. The front filter thread is bent, and yeah, I'm gonna try to bend it back sometime. Maybe I have to look for one of those jigs you can buy to straighten out the filters, the filter thread. But this one actually has quite a fat filter ring, so who knows if a tool from China is gonna be strong enough. So I'm just gonna put some more in here and spread it out nicely. And here I noticed, let me just find the X marks the spot. So again, I'm putting it here the wrong way in, just to have even coverage on all frets. And actually this is a bit too stiff. It's hard to convey here over the video, but this is a bit too stiff for my taste. It's quite well damped, and of course once that part goes in, it's gonna be even heavier. I did notice there was no loop on these little teeth. As you can see here, there are some cutouts and the teeth go in here and right along. There was no loop. On some lenses there is loop on these teeth, so maybe I'm just gonna put a dab, just the smallest bit, to make it travel a bit easier. Oh, and this part can also be disassembled. There are, I believe, 3 little screws, and it can be taken apart, but really no need. So let's see. Do I have a tissue? I just went over the threads once, just to remove a bit. It's better already. Just a bit of the grease, because it was just a tad too heavy for me. So let's put it together now. Where's the X? There it is. So like this. Okay. And just line it up. Okay. Then you take this ring and pull it over. You can screw it in. This is actually the lock. And here on mine I didn't mark anything because it goes in only one way, I believe. Yep, just a tad more and I am at infinity, and it should stop. It has 1.5 meters here written, but it actually focuses a bit closer than that. Let's put it back into infinity, and let me just put it there. Oh, actually there was some loop here, I believe. Or maybe not. So just a small amount here to reduce any unwanted, how does one say it, additional drag. So just trying to line this up. If I'm at infinity here, that's 20. Like so. Oh shit. I effed up. Actually, this is close focus. So let's see. That should be close focus. So if that's that, okay, now it went in like it should. And yep, at infinity it goes. That's it. It's of course smoother now, but still a bit too stiff for my liking. You would now have to insert the 3 screws here. So if I put this now at infinity, yep. Okay. And that's it. I'm gonna have to test this tomorrow if I put everything back together, but I do believe this is correct, because here at the close focus distance it is almost flush, and that's rangefinder coupled, and at infinity it gets back out. But yeah, so if you want to take this apart, I do believe I left it at close focus. I have to push it. The first time was quite difficult for me to get this out. Just there you go. You just have to slowly wiggle it. There's no glue, but some corrosion can get in here and just add a bit of tackiness to it. So where is that? And as you can see, when you insert it, just be sure to have it lined up correctly. And that's it. Okay. Yep, screw holes are also lined up as they should be. I do have to get some better quality and lighter in weight grease for this, but like I mentioned, here in Europe I really can't find any shops that carry purposefully made helicoid grease. I do know people are using different kinds of grease, just like for machines, etc., for like heavy machinery, and they use those kinds of greases, or like lithium grease, silicon grease. But yeah, On some Japanese websites you have like 10 different weights, and then you can pick whatever you like most, and you can like experiment a bit. But yeah, once this is mounted on the camera, of course, it's gonna be fine. And putting the whole lens together is actually very easy. Here is the back optical group and the front. I still have to glue this aperture ring with the numbers. There is one screw holding it in, but it moves like 0.5 millimeter maybe. And originally it was also glued. And that's it, that's the lens. The Hektor 7.3 centimeter f1.9 from 1938. Yeah, I'm quite amazed. It's not the sharpest lens, and I still have to do some cleaning on the front element. And of course the filter thread that's bent. But yeah, it has a very nice look to it. Out of focus areas are quite pleasant and swirly, so very vintage looking. And I use it on my M8, and so it's more like a, what is it? It's 98 or something like that. Basically a portrait lens, but then again a 75 is already. And yeah, I do like how it renders the images. I'm gonna take this apart a few more times in the near future, I believe. Although, like I said, aperture is now very smooth and very pleasant, like buttery smooth. Focus just a tad too stiff. I might go in there once more now and try to remove a bit more grease and just lighten it up a bit until I get some high quality grease, and I can then put this together and have a few years of peace again. And yeah, like I said, the front element has to be cleaned some more. And yeah, in the near future, something with this filter thread. But it doesn't, at least on the M8, since it's a crop sensor, it doesn't come into the image circle, so it's not visible. Maybe on a full frame you could see it, but I'm not quite certain about that. So yeah, actually not that bad of a lens to take apart. This design where you could remove the whole optical block was still present in later lenses, like in the 60s, 70s, I believe, on Elmarids, the 90mm ones and the 135 ones, etc. And for like macro photography also. And yeah, actually quite nice. I really like this lens. I didn't think I would like it that much. It is a bit long and a bit heavy, but yeah, really something very unique. It is soft, wide open, but once you get about to, I believe, f4, thereabout, it should sharpen up. Now this is still quite soft. It had a lot of haze in there and fungus, but yeah, I'll see. I thought about maybe repainting it, but I do like to keep it original. I'll see. I'll probably keep it original as is.